White's faithful gather round the Elland Road. Buzz is absolutely mental right now. Listen up, Leeds family. Your boy's got 3 absolutely massive stories that are going to shake Elland Road to its very foundations. We're talking about moves that could completely transform our season, and I'm not even exaggerating here. Picture this. Our midfield is in absolute crisis mode. Our attack is struggling to find the back of the net, and Daniel Farke is scratching his head trying to piece together a squad that can compete at this level. But here's where it gets juicy. White's faithful. First up, we've got a legendary midfielder who could be making the most emotional homecoming in Leeds United history. A player who bleeds white through and through, and Man City might just be ready to let him go. Then there's drama brewing. With a striker that both us and Newcastle are eyeing up, talk about deadline day madness. And finally, there's a young English wizard on the wings who could be the creative spark we've been desperately crying out for. Smash that like button if you're ready for some transfer chaos. Drop a comment with your predictions and subscribe, because these next few minutes are going to be absolutely wild. The first bombshell is going to hit you right in the feels, Whites. Faithful, are you ready to welcome back a prodigal son? Let's dive in. Calvin Phillips. There, I said it. The name that has every single member of the Whites faithful either jumping for joy or holding their breath in nervous anticipation. Our Yorkshire Pirlo, our homegrown hero, the lad who used to run the show. At Elland Road before that ill-fated move to the Etihad. And now, with our midfield looking like a casualty ward, the stars might just be aligning for the most emotional transfer story of the summer. Here's the situation. Leeds family, Ao Tanaka and Ethan Ampeda are both crocked with MCL injuries. We're down to just 3 midfielders, Sean Longstaff, Anton Stack, and Ilya Groove. Daniel Farke's been pulling his hair out trying to figure out how to field a proper midfield, especially with that crucial Newcastle clash coming up this weekend. But then, like something out of a fairy tale, whispers start emerging from Manchester. Graham Bailey, and this guy knows his stuff, drops an absolute bombshell. There's still a good chance Phillips ends up at Elland Road. Can you imagine? Can you actually picture Calvin Phillips back in white? Back where he belongs? The mad thing is Man City are apparently considering paying up his contract. They want rid of him that badly after those disastrous loan spells at West Ham and Ipswich. 3 years of absolute misery for our lad. But it could be our golden ticket to bringing him home. But wait, it gets better. Phillips was spotted at a Kaiser Chiefs gig in a protective boot. He's fit again, he's ready, and deep down, you know, he's desperate to right the wrongs of leaving Leeds in the first place. The man who once captained England is essentially begging for a way back to Yorkshire. The only obstacles, his $140,000 a week wages. He'd have to take a massive pay cut, possibly half his current salary. But you know what? If anyone would do it for the love of the badge, it's Calvin Phillips. This is a man who grew up supporting Leeds, who came through our academy, who knows what it means to wear that shirt. This could be the signing that changes everything. But hold on to your hats, because the transfer drama is just getting started. The plot thickens, Whites faithful. While we're dreaming about Phillips' homecoming, there's another transfer war brewing, and it involves our opponents this weekend, Artem Dovbyk, the Ukrainian goal machine who absolutely terrorized defenses last season. This is the striker we've been scouting, the $26 million man that Roma are desperate to offload. But here's the kicker. Newcastle United have just lobbed in a cheeky loan bid for him. Talk about adding insult to injury. Not only are we facing Eddie Howe's Newcastle this weekend, but they're trying to nick the striker right from under our noses. The absolute audacity of it all. It's like they're rubbing salt in the wound before we even kick a ball at St. James's Park. Here's what's got me absolutely fuming. We've done our homework on Dovbyk. Our scouts were watching him during that preseason friendly against Everton. We know he's the real deal. 14 goals in Serie A, built like a tank, and exactly the kind of clinical finisher we need after Dominic Calvert-Lewin's nightmare debut. Don't even get me started on that Sheffield Wednesday disaster. Missing chances left, right, and center, then blazing his penalty into orbit like he was trying to hit a satellite. If that doesn't scream we need another striker, I don't know what does. The man looked lost out there. completely out of his depth. But here's where it gets interesting. Roma want to sell, not loan. They need that $26 million to fund their own transfer business. Newcastle's loan bid might just be dead in the water, which leaves the door wide open for us to swoop in with a proper offer. Alexander Isak's future at Newcastle remains uncertain, with Liverpool still circling, which explains why Howe is looking for alternatives. But here's the thing, if we can move faster than Newcastle, if we can get that deal done while they're messing about with loan offers, Derby could be our secret weapon. Lucas and Mecha has shown promise, sure, but we need depth. We need quality, and we need someone who won't crumble under the pressure of wearing the Leeds United shirt at this level. Derby has that killer instinct we desperately need. The clock is ticking, the deadline is approaching, and Newcastle are circling like vultures. Will Daniel Farke pull the trigger on Derby, or are we going to let another golden opportunity slip through our fingers? But wait, there's one more piece of this transfer puzzle that could blow your mind. Right, Whites faithful? This is where things get absolutely electric. While everyone's focused on strikers and midfielders, there's a young English magician who could be the missing piece of our puzzle. Tom Fellows from West Bromwich Albion. And according to legendary commentator Ian Darke, this kid could be exactly what we need to solve our creativity crisis. Listen to this. 14 assists last season in the championship. 14! That's the kind of creative genius we've been crying out for since Manor Solomon got injured. Dan James has been solid, but let's be honest, he hasn't exactly set the Premier League alight when he's played at this level before. Fellows isn't just any ordinary winger, he's an England under-21 international who can go either way. Cut inside, whipping crosses, and create chances out of absolutely nothing. The kind of player who makes defenders have nightmares. He's got that raw pace and trickery that can unlock the tightest defenses in the Premier League. Ian Darke himself said it, the clock is ticking, and a player I would be looking at if I were Leeds is Tom Fellows. Good right winger who can go either way. Somebody like that might be a deal that they can get done, late on in the window. When a legend like Darke speaks, you listen. Think about it. We've spent $18 million on Noah Okafor, brought in Calvert-Lewin and Mecha on free transfers, but we're still missing that spark, that X-Factor player who can unlock stubborn defenses. Okafor is a Swiss international, but he's been warming benches more than starting games recently. Against Everton, our goal came from a penalty. In pre-season, we were struggling to find the back of the net. The Sheffield Wednesday game? Don't even mention it. We need someone who can create something from nothing, and Fellows could be that man. He's the type of player who can turn a 0-0 borefest into a 3-0 thriller. West Brom fans won't thank us for even thinking about it, but with the deadline approaching fast, this could be the shrewd bit of business that transforms our entire season. The Baggies would hate to lose their crown jewel, but sometimes football is ruthless. Hit that subscribe button if you want more Leeds transfer madness. What do you think, Whites faithful? Should we go all in for Phillips, Dovbyk and Fellows? Can you imagine having all three in white by September 1st? This transfer window is shaping up to be absolutely mental. And with Leeds United, you know it's never boring. The next few days could define our entire season. Phillips coming home, a striker battle with Newcastle, and a young English talent who could light up Elland Road like we haven't seen in years. What's your take on these three potential signings? Are we dreaming too big, or is this exactly the kind of ambition Leeds United should have? Could this be the transfer window that finally gets us back where we belong, competing with the very best? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one, and your passion fuels these videos. The transfer window closes soon, but the drama is just getting started. Marching on together.